If you feel like you are struggling in your relationships, whether this is with family, friends, or partners, this video is going to help you so much because what I'm sharing on this is going to break down how your own beliefs and your own mindset is actually keeping you stuck in other relationships and how you can break out of it. And this work totally transformed the relationships in my own life as well as all of the relationships in my clients' lives. So I'm so excited to be sharing it with you here. So let's dive in. Hey, welcome back to another video. My name is Kara Michelle and I'm here to help you live your truth. And on today's video, we're going to be talking about your own perception and beliefs and how they are impacting your relationships right now and impacting what you are perceiving from other people and also what you're expecting. Because let's be honest, I think we all have pretty high expectations when it comes to what we want from other people. And if you are even remotely like me, and I wouldn't say I was a control freak, but I do like control. So if you have issues with control, then there might be something in you that is really struggling with the fact that you can't fix someone else, or you haven't been able to control and get them to kind of be who it is you want them to be. And this is the shift we're going to be making and working on this video, because you can't control other people, and that is one of the biggest things of life, right? All we can control is ourselves and how we show up and how we perceive other people and the thoughts and focus that we're giving our power to. So want to share how this has transformed the lives of so many people already, starting with one of my clients, Brianne. So she was struggling with family relationships, and they didn't really understand what she was working through and going through, and she felt like she was getting triggered by them a lot before we started working together. And through doing my Conquer Your Mind program and really focusing on her own self, healing herself, her old beliefs, really getting like introspective about what's going on and where these things came from, which is what I'm going to be breaking down for you right away. By doing that work, she was able to better understand her family and their beliefs and where they were coming from. There was a total decrease in that need to control what they were doing, and she found acceptance to meet them where they were at, to understand why they were doing the things they were doing. And because she did so much work on herself, she had like the best Christmas they'd ever had together, and the relationships got so much better. And then her family also picked up on the work she had done, and they started to kind of make little changes too. So she was able to still kind of control and help guide them to where she wanted, but it started by working on herself. And another client, Megan, this was very similar. She joined my program to work on her relationship to herself and others, and through focusing in on really understanding yourself and where your triggers are, where all these things stem from, healing and releasing them, and changing your beliefs around everything in the world and everything in how you see yourself, that allows you to then create these new solid foundations for your relationships. So Megan was able to break out of toxic cycles, and she had been bullied quite a bit and had these people who she kept attracting, people who really didn't respect her or see her worth. And it was very disheartening, a lot of lack of control there, and hard to be in that place, right? But by doing the work on herself and understanding more about where these things kind of were deeply rooted from and what she could control, she then found her voice, she found her confidence to speak up to these people, to stand more firmly in who she was, and to create these positive shifts and have that control over her mind, body, and soul each day, so that those external things or external people weren't holding her down. So enough about that, let's get into it. So when it comes to relationships, I will give an example of where this totally changed everything for me. Was my relationship with my dad, because he was someone who I never felt like we didn't communicate the same way. If you haven't read the book, the love languages, or the 5 love languages, I highly recommend if you are interested in this subject, okay? He communicated his love in his way, and the way I was looking for love and the way I interpreted love was different. So he could be like showing his love and his affection, that he cared for me, but I didn't interpret it because I was looking for love in a certain different way. If you understand this, this will help all of your relationships, because more often than not, we are getting the love from our friends, from our partners, from our family, but we're maybe not meeting in the middle around how we give and receive love. So someone might show their love and affection by giving gifts, but if you prefer to be given attention and time, like time to sit and talk and be with this person, and they're just giving you gifts, you might not feel like you're actually loved or appreciated, when really they think they're doing everything they can, because they're like showering you with flowers or presents, and they're like, oh, let me show how much I love you, but you're not receiving it because it's not matching, right? So when you can realize this, you go, wait a minute, they were showing their love for me this whole time. I just couldn't understand it. And then most likely this goes both ways, where maybe you're trying to give them time and just like wanting to sit and talk, and they're kind of like, why aren't they showing me the love in the way I want it, right? So 5 love languages, very good. Check that out. So by realizing where these things stem from and what it is you're looking for from other people, and again, this goes for any relationship, but it's all about that introspection and learning about yourself, because when you know where your triggers come from, or you know where these things are rooted from, then you can understand why they're showing up in your life and why there's these patterns that have been created. So something you can start asking yourself first is, why am I triggered? Okay, so I'll go with that relationship with me and my dad. When I started, for years, I kept wanting to change him, and I kept going like, why can't he just do this for me? And why can't he just say that? Or why can't he just, right? Like, I wanted all these things, and I was so focused on what I thought he wasn't doing instead of all of the good things he was doing. And that's another way the mind works, right? It's focused on the negative a lot of times. So I started to look at, okay, I can't control him. I finally clicked after years, and I realized I just want to enjoy my relationship with him. I know he cares about me. I know he loves me. So how can I make this the best thing possible? What kind of changes can I make so that I'm not constantly getting annoyed or frustrated if he's not doing something that I want him to do? Okay, so I looked at, why am I triggered? So what is it in this situation that's causing me to be triggered? And more often than not, this comes from a really deeply rooted place. So that's where, when you realize, okay, say I am being triggered right now because I don't feel like I'm being heard, or I am being triggered because I don't feel like they are respecting me, or I am being triggered because I don't feel like a priority, or I feel like I'm just kind of here when they need, right? There's so many reasons that could be coming up for you in different relationships, and they're all going to look different, right, with each person, but you find the trigger. Why is it? And then, where is it coming from? This is where it's the deeply rooted part. And this is going to bring you back to your childhood and going to help you get into some of your subconscious blocks around this. So where is it coming from? You know what? It really reminds me of, this is an example. You know what? It really reminds me of a time when I was like in kindergarten or grade 1, and somebody kind of picked on me, or people who I thought are like, elementary school people I thought were my friends, they all laughed at me and I felt like I didn't matter. Or a teacher kind of snapped at me and I thought I was stupid and not good enough, right? Where is it coming from? Because this is going to uncover a lot more for you, and we're going to get to that. But you want to know, you need to get clear on these things, because otherwise it's just something that you think is happening to you and outside of you, and you're blaming it on other people. Like, well, if they just listened more, I wouldn't be so frustrated. But no, it's not your job to control them. It's your job to control yourself. So if they're not listening more, why is that something that's affecting you and making you so upset? And why are you handling it the way you're handling it and getting angry or frustrated, this is all about the inner work. This is why the most important thing you can do is work on yourself and become aware of yourself and create that deeper connection. So where is it coming from? You figure this out. I would recommend writing these down. Write this down right now. And journal through it. And you can do this for each relationship, each primary relationship in your life right now. And I promise if you do this, you're going to have so much awareness around why things have been going the way they've been going. And it's going to improve every single relationship in your life, and you can thank me for that later. So give this a try, and please share in the comments if you find this helpful, okay? Because I really want to know how much this kind of shifts things for you. So you figure out where it's coming from. This allows you to get to the root cause, and from there you can do some healing. You can use some of the tools I share in other videos, meditations, energy work, just journaling, releasing, crying. Just even the awareness itself is going to allow you to make major strides forward. Then you want to ask, what is it teaching me? Okay, so let's go with the example of, I'm being triggered because I don't feel like this person is listening to me. Where is it coming from? You know what? It actually reminds me of a time when I was younger in school and I would try to speak up and everyone would kind of just talk all over top of me, and I never felt like people were listening to me. So that's the root cause, right? Or one of the root causes. So then what is it teaching me? Well, this could be many things, right? Maybe it's teaching you that you need to trust yourself. You need to learn how to love yourself and trust yourself and realize that your voice matters. This was a big one for me. Maybe it's that you need to learn how to respect yourself and know that you're worthy and deserving of being heard, right? Your voice matters. You have something to share. And as long as you continue to play small or give up because you think people aren't hearing you, or you're kind of enabling them to continue to do it. But if you realize that it's teaching you that your voice freaking matters, then you need to start speaking up, and you can take different aligned actions to create that change, right? Finding the lesson in the struggle. This is one of the biggest things I talk about as well, right? Finding the lesson so that you can make the change and move forward. If you don't learn the lesson, it's going to keep happening. And that leads us into, is there a pattern? So is this showing up in a lot of areas? And more often than not, it does, because whatever you subconsciously believe is what you're going to continue to attract and stay stuck in. So if you believe that people don't really care about what you have to say and nobody ever listens to you and they don't respect your voice, then subconsciously you have then also learned that just your voice doesn't matter, so you might as well not try. And now this pattern that might be created is that no matter where you're working, no matter who your friend groups are, no matter who you're dating, you feel like you're not really being heard, and you kind of silence yourself. You probably avoid speaking up and sharing how you truly feel because you think they're not going to listen anyway, or they're not going to hear you anyway. And then maybe this also means you're attracting people who kind of walk all over you and don't treat you well, but it's because subconsciously you don't believe you deserve better, and you think that that's just what life is for you, because that is your block. That is your belief that your voice doesn't matter. And believe me, from someone who continued to attract men who were trying to take advantage of me, who didn't respect me, who harassed me, assaulted me, all these things, in every single one of those situations, I still believed that my voice didn't matter. So I'd either try to speak up, but it would be really timid and afraid because I didn't think they'd listen anyway, or I just didn't even try. And that is where this all comes from, right? Is understanding how much of a pattern that is created and how that dictated what I continued to allow into my life, because that's just what I believed I deserved and what I believed was possible for me. But by doing all of this work and all the work I've been doing for the last 8 years, trying to release these things and uncover where everything stems from and shift out to becoming a new version of myself, I had to really look these things straight in the eye and go, how am I actually responsible? Because I believed my voice didn't matter for all these years. And so then I just kind of showed everyone else that my voice didn't matter, because if they spoke over me, I just kind of gave up instead of going like, no, I have something really important to say that could benefit people, so I'm still going to say it. And I need this to be heard, and my opinion matters, and my needs matter, right? The whole shift to empowerment comes from realizing that you can speak up and create this new energy and get out of whatever pattern it is you feel stuck in. Then the last part you can look at here is, what can I control? So now that you've seen, going through this process, how much it went from somebody else, like I'm being triggered by somebody else and most likely blaming somebody else, and then breaking down all these things shows you how it comes back to you, or in this case, myself. So what can I control in this situation? I can't control if they're going to listen to me, if they're going to actually take what I say seriously or respect it, right? But you know what I can control? I can control that I keep trying. I can control that I believe in what I have to say, and so I show up and speak with conviction. I can control that I think my voice matters and that I think I'm freaking amazing, that I think I have a lot to say, I'm important, right? I can take on the energy of confidence and go, who I am is enough, and what I have to share is enough. So I can control that I'm bringing that forward in every moment. Okay? So all of this is going to help you understand exactly what it is you can control right now when it comes to all of your relationships. So say you've done this process and you go, wow, look at how I was showing up in some of these relationships because of the beliefs I had created, and I didn't even realize it. And you can let me know in the comments if this created some light bulb moments for you and helped you see things differently, right? Because most often we are looking at other people and we're frustrated or upset or annoyed by the fact that they're doing things we don't like. But when you can take that lens back and look internally and go, why is this bothering me? And what does it say about me and myself, my own beliefs? You're going to uncover some major blocks, some major awareness, and things that you can shift and work on. So if you want to, and if you haven't yet, please make sure you check out the free mindset training that's linked down below, because this is one piece I touch on very briefly, just about the fact of like looking what you're looking at and how you're coming back to look at yourself and how you're being triggered, and what you can learn from other people and your own beliefs, because your beliefs about yourself as well as your beliefs about others really just show you more about yourself. They don't actually mean anything about anyone else. You could look at someone and say, oh, they're wonderful, or oh, they're the worst person in the world, but it doesn't actually mean anything about them. It just shows you what you believe and what kind of values are incorporated and ingrained into yourself, right? All of these things about what you're looking for. So when you do this inner work, this mindset stuff, and you look at where you can focus and what you can shift, you're going to take so much power back over your life. And this will change all of your relationships. I promise. This is a process that I focus on all the time now. Anytime I'm meeting someone new, or I catch myself where an old thought comes in, or an old belief around why someone said something and whether I liked it or not, right? How it kind of triggered me, or what thoughts it sparked in me. And then I break down this thing and I look at all of these areas of how it's just influencing me, where it came from, and that's where the healing work comes from. And then from there, I'm not bothered by it as much. I understand, look, they're just doing their thing, right? Unless they're being a horrible person. But majority of the time, everyone is just trying to be the best they can be with what they know. And so if you can separate and not be triggered by them, and you look at your own triggers, everything will change. So if you haven't, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and hit the subscribe button, and check out the free mindset training down below if you want some extra support on this, and help in changing your own mindset around yourself, around your relationships, around career. Really, this mindset work changes all areas of your life, so I cannot recommend it. It's the most important thing you can do in your life. So check out that free training, and I will see you guys on the next video. Much love. Bye.